An ugly woman simply cannot be with a hot guy. In fact, there cannot be an attractiveness gap with him looking hotter than her ever. Look what they've done to Fiona in the new Shrek movie. Who is she? As Hoarder Princess says,
buccal fat removal, a chin transplant, a nose job, an airbrushed collarbone, and they snatchified her and made her look younger. This looks like his daughter. That is not the same character. This is such an indicator of where we are as a society. Why won't y'all let her look like that? She literally was like, this is me and this is how I look and you like it and I like it and we like it.
Meanwhile, Shrek is allowed to age and get more wrinkles. How many ugly monsters have women fallen in love with on screen because they see the beauty within? Even a bee, played by Jerry Seinfeld?
What are you talking about? Are there other bugs in your life?
No, but there are other things bugging me in life.
As Jessica Rabbit says,
What do you see in that guy?
He makes me laugh.
how many ugly men have really attractive women fallen for on screen? Or just men who are significantly less attractive than them? And why is it so often Adam Sandler? Well, even when the furniture transforms, even the feather duster is that much hotter than Lumiere. The closest recent example I can think of on screen with an average woman being with an attractive man is the recently released The Other Bennet Sister. Otherwise, my mind runs a blank. Maybe My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And even then she still has a self-empowerment makeover. Remember how I brought up a couple of weeks ago, people were really angry at Brooke Monk because she was ugly in comparison to her boyfriend? She is not his look match, apparently.
One of the worst things you can do as a woman is not be deemed attractive. It just is what it is. People automatically view you as lesser than if you're not attractive, and it's dumb and it's untrue, but it is how people treat you.
Well, I must be a heap of garbage. If there ever is a hotness gap in a cis-het relationship, it must always be her being hotter than him. It's Beauty and the Beast, not Hunky and the Hag. Any guy who only cares about your looks certainly doesn't care about your pleasure. But don't worry, because my friends at Balesa have you covered. We're doing a giveaway where everyone wins a free toy. They're a bi-woman company that's inclusive to everyone's needs, and all of their toys use body-safe silicone. Their new toys are silent. No, really. It's amazing. A world's first. Nobody else will know our little secret, and the packaging is also discreet too. Balesa invented Whisper Tech and created a range of toys to suit whatever hits your spot the best. Whether it's the Whisper Bullet, which is perfect for anyone that's new to toys, it's small and easy to maneuver to wherever you feel best. Oh, you're a pro? The Whisper Rabbit with dual stimulation for maximum pleasure is exactly what you want. Or my personal favourite, the Whisper Vibe, where you can switch up where you want to focus depending on your mood. Best yet, their new silent toys are waterproof so you can take them wherever you want. Their whole range of toys don't have any annoying pattern modes, so just as it should be, you are in complete control. Everyone who signs up wins a free Whisper Vibe or Viral Rose suction toy with any Whisper purchase. Click my link in the description and grab your new vibe. The big question is, they can stay silent, but can you? Thanks Balesa for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it.
Really look at me. I am ugly as by traditional standards, but I get with women.
And of course we know that beauty is objective and can just be rated on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So who exactly is ugly anyway? If throughout this whole video I just keep on losing my flowers, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. Does anybody else remember the horrible show Butterface by Howard Stern? They got women to come on the show wearing bikinis with a paper bag over their head so then the guys could rank their bodies 1 to 10. Yes, these are the people casting judgment. And then they got to the face reveal and oh my goodness, what a hideous, ugly, beautiful woman. Poor Stacey, poor every single woman that ever was on the show. Then a few months ago, this meme was going around, Butterface 2003, model 2025. Zendaya, really? How long did you spend trying to find an ugly photo of her? The standards of what counts to be an attractive woman under patriarchy have always been really harsh. But it feels impossible to meet these days. Beautiful people are constantly told that they're not pretty with every single flaw of theirs listed. The Overton window has shifted so much that it's basically impossible to meet naturally. Beauty standards vary from culture to culture, from time to time, like we are not plucking the hair on our heads all the way back to here like they did in medieval times. So throughout this video, I'm going to keep on referring back to conventional beauty standards, which usually revolves around facial symmetry and facial proportions like is referenced in this study, kind of balanced. Or you may have seen this face chart going around if you're in the Looksmaxxing space, or if you're in the red pill, black pill zone, then you'll have seen things like the True Eve and the True Stacey, which I don't really want to give the time of day to because a True Eve to them is James Charles, and honestly, I don't want to see him again, don't know about you. They can keep him. Remember a while back how I talked about the movie Ugliers and how no one in the movie was actually ugly? It was just because everyone else around them got heightened to such a level of beauty that is completely unattainable through any other means than surgery. So by comparison, they felt ugly. Like in the movie The Duff, she's pretty, but in comparison to her hot friends, she is the designated ugly fat friend. She's the one that people go to in order to have a way in with her hot friends. The social order is set, the least attractive woman is always on the bottom. A number of us us can relate to feeling like this in real life. Or movie ugly is girls and women who are shown to be unattractive because
Guys, she's got glasses and a ponytail.
when all they really need is a little makeover. Basically, they're ugly ducklings. They're insecure, which is a future video topic. As Mina Lay brought up in a recent video, Bring Ugliness Back to the Movies, casting requirements for women are so much harsher than they are for men. Casting directors have to appease male executives and patriarchal beauty standards. Women who audition are utterly ripped to shreds, and that's even if they get any feedback at all. And the not knowing will of course make people spiral, and then when you see the show or the movie come out and then you're like, oh, that's who they cast, there's this wrong with me, that's wrong with me then, and then you're just constantly seeing all of the things that you need to fix. Movie unattractive women are basically just average looking women. Outside of character actors, there really isn't space for unattractive women on screen. Definitely not in a lead romantic role. What we're talking about here is even after the makeover happens, they are still not conventionally attractive. It's like, you need surgery to fix that. The whole, you're not ugly, you're just poor. A movie called The Truth About Cats and Dogs, the entire premise is that Janine Garofalo thinks that she's too unattractive to date this man. And yes, she is from Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. Good spotting. I cannot wait for that sequel. I really hope it's going to be good. She gets her supermodel friend Uma Thurman to stand in for her. Janine was not a classic 90s beauty. So it doesn't matter if you think that she's hot, and oh my goodness, there are so many people online that are like, oh, she's so much hotter than Uma Thurman, I'd much rather take her any day. It's like, as if we can't just keep on pitting women against each other, right? The mirror has two faces. See, I personally think that Barbra Streisand is on the same level as this guy of attractiveness, even before the makeover that she has, because of course there has to be a makeover. But in movie world, he's settling for an unattractive, accomplished, charismatic woman who has low self-esteem. Barbara was the one that made that movie. Funny, isn't it, how usually representation for more equality in terms of looks, or even an average or cute woman being with a hotter man, is when movies are made by women. If you haven't seen Illuminati's video, If Pretty is a Privilege, Ugly is a Curse, absolutely go and watch that. It's going to be linked for you down below. She used Lena Dunham as a jumping point for this discussion, and I don't want to go rehashing stuff, so go watch it after. There is a strongly held belief that women are the fairer sex. All women are beautiful, at least like you kind of have to be, like songs are written about it, we're told that from infancy, and a study has just come out to back me up. As this Guardian piece by Ian Sample shares, it compiled the world's largest dataset on facial attractiveness ratings from 52 studies in 76 countries. The final dataset contained more than 1.5 million ratings of 17,000 faces from nearly 30,000 raters. Their analysis found that the average female face is rated more attractive than about 60% of male faces. The size of the gap was strongest in the West and varied slightly with sexual orientation, but was still evident across heterosexual, gay, bisexual, and lesbian raters. When men and women rated themselves, the gap disappeared. Do you want to know when else the gap disappeared? The preference for female over male faces dropped steadily from 18 years old until vanishing at about 80 years old. Susan Sontag, you're proven right yet again. So for any woman to be seen as ugly, it's kind of going against nature. It goes against our social conditioning. Hence why I feel like people are even crueler when they see an ugly woman.
Wow, we're really flipping her out. She can't imagine what you're doing here with me. Hot people are supposed to be with hot people.
Yes, Jennifer Goodwin was considered to be ugly representation. I know. She's the duff. A patron shared that if you're an unattractive woman, you're only allowed to openly date fellow outcasts, and they have to be at least as ugly and fat as you. And we're not even getting into fat phobia today, or the fat friend trope, or all of the ways that women have been punished for being fat, and the ways that we're not even allowed to enjoy things. And the video was still this long. But a woman should always see past his appearance. You know, Charlotte with Harry. I mean, as much as she had to train him, and she didn't like his habits, and didn't like so many things about him, he was kind to her. He cares about her, and that's what matters. But that's how it should be for any relationship.
And Benny Blanco is here because of the genie who granted him that wish. Man, lucky guy.
But when he's better looking than her, oh, it's abhorrent. And when it comes to movies, the audience lets people know, like Maggie Gyllenhaal, who was in Batman Returns, oh my goodness, did everyone say, like, she's hideous, how dare you replace Katie Holmes with her. Sarah Jessica Parker gets brought up all the time as well. You know, Family Guy and South Park making the absolute worst jokes. Trigger warning for transphobia.
My wife is a beautiful woman, and I know that most people agree with me.
And Matthew, how come a donkey witch is standing next to you, and why is it wearing a dress?
Kimberly from The Sex Lives of College Girls is the least attractive one, right? She gets a crush on Nico, who's referred to as...
You have a face to write songs about.
They hook up, but it's transactional. He was cheating the entire time with her. She was the side piece because the person that he was with was studying overseas. This hottie, he was cheating on her. Why did Kimberly think that she could get a guy as good looking as him? As a patron shared, guys are happy to be with you, but it must be hidden. It must be on the down low because you're not good enough arm candy to show off to the bros. If it won't score you points for the bros, then what's the point? It doesn't matter how good your connection is. I don't know if you've ever come across this as well, but there's almost like this unwritten rule that if you're a woman, you shouldn't be in a relationship with a man that's hotter than you because then he's gonna take advantage of you, he's gonna leave you, he's gonna cheat on you and treat you like dirt because he can always find someone better than you. Our worthiness is based on our looks, after all. Miranda in Sex and the City was dating a guy that she thought was hotter than her.
Every woman in the room was staring at her date, and she knew what they were thinking. What is that incredibly attractive man doing with her?
And it caused her to spiral so much that she ended up self-sabotaging. However, you can be the most beautiful, the baddest, most accomplished, incredible woman and still get cheated on. But then people say, oh, it's because she was too good and she bruised his ego, so he had to find a way to validate himself. Oh, shut up, Riley. But that's another video for another day. Henry Cavill, Superman, or the original Witcher, the one that should have remained in that cast. His partner, Natalie, damn, you can do so much better than her. They got together in April 2021 and the Looksmaxxers were not having a bar of it because he's one of the best looking men around. I mean, they're not interested in men at all, but they still think that no woman is good enough for their favourite men. They're not looks matched and he's settled by choosing her because she has other nice qualities. He had to do an Instagram post because the hate got so much, as he calmly explained. To you out there who are expressing your disdain and show of your displeasure through a surprising variety of ways, it's time to stop. I am very happy in love and in life. I'd be enormously grateful if you were happy with me. If you can't bring yourself to be happy with me, then at the very least try to do yourself proud and be the best version of yourself. Burn, it's very much pipe down children, you are being ridiculous. Looksmatching is from incel red pill culture from the manosphere, if you hadn't figured it out yet. Remember that trend, looking for a man in finance? A woman partook in it with her boyfriend and the comments are utterly brutal, saying it's because her family's rich and they pay him off and that's the only reason that he's with her. Why though? Why would he do this to himself? I don't know, they love each other and see each other as full people rather than on your weird ranking scale? Not to mention the xenophobia is incredibly strong in the comment section here, and of course the white supremacy and the eugenics of it all, you know, with bloodlines. The same thing is happening with this couple that's going viral right now. People are convinced that he must be with her for money. There can't be any other reason that they're together. It's constantly humiliating her. It's being really disgusting. And of course, xenophobic. Once again, it can only go one way. And even then they're going to be like, oh, well, she's a gold digger. She's just with him for this, that, and the other. Like, boys, you're just not happy when your boys pair up, are you? It's okay to just admit it.
Your experience of life has been wholly different to my own. You were celebrated. And you were respected. I was not.
Anthos Corner kept on being used as the face of the ugly girls of the UK.
Bro, it's so disgusting once you hear it. Because what do you mean I'm the face of, like, the UK ugly girls? That's what they were saying.
Absolutely cooked behaviour, right? Being treated worse if you're an ugly woman is absolutely a real thing.
To see how he treats women that he finds unattractive. There is no one kinder in this world than a man that finds you beautiful and wants to sleep with you. Men who don't find you attractive often don't see you as a person. Instantly, you know, when they start talking about a woman that they find unattractive, if they start belittling her, they do not respect women.
And it shows an awful lot about them as a person, just like the way that people treat service workers, retail workers, waiters, everybody like that. As someone who's been in those roles, I definitely know the people who are trash to look out for. I want to share this skit with you because Matt Affinity captures this so well, as he gets paired up for a project with Lily and then he starts immediately making fun of her, automatically mouthing to his mate, help. This is way too realistic. It triggered a trauma I didn't even know I had. You really nailed the disgusted that they even need to look at you thing. I got snapped back to my childhood with this. But how exactly do you describe this kind of bullying? I mean, they're not physically hurting you. For now. This is silent bullying. Hostile behaviour that harms another person without the aggressor being obvious. Some of the ways that this can occur is through reputational harm like gossip, otherwise known as relational aggression. And it doesn't just appear in schools, but in workplaces and everyday life too. Study after study shows us that lookism, the halo effect, pretty privilege, they're all real. I've talked about it for years on my channel. As Monica, a patron, shared this study with me, stigmatization, the dimension of aesthetics, ugliness and beauty. Although physical beauty has always been valued in society, it is now associated associated with financial success and improved status in all areas of social life. It has also become the primary currency in social relations. This particularly affects women, the personal impact of the abundance of negative, hurtful feedback that ugly people receive. The result is wounded identity. And even though this form of almost unproven bullying occurs, overt hostility happens as well. It's almost seen as a personal affront if a woman isn't conventionally attractive. Like this person shares, you can pause to read it all, but I'm going to read some highlights. In school, on multiple unrelated occasions, random kids I didn't know would point me out to their friend and go, "That's your girlfriend." The friend would usually say something like, "Oh, no, never, no way," etc. In college, people were usually very surprised when I would mention I had dated someone. A few times people asked to see a picture of my ex and then had a reaction similar to, "Wait, why is he cute though?" implying I wasn't attractive enough to date someone as attractive as him. As an adult, a woman at the grocery store saw my BF and I at the store, snickered and said, "Cute girlfriend," as she walked past. The offensive part is that she is less attractive than her partner. And it's also something to mock him for because it's a signal that he's clearly a lesser man if he can only pull as someone who is as ugly as her. Neri Pilia's videos got picked up by the algorithm recently, which meant that more eyes got put on her, which meant that, of course, people started to be incredibly mean to her, as I spoke about before. She was bullied as a kid because the features that she has are similar to her father's.
The fact that I'll get my father's nose and his eyebrows and his mouth. Actually, a lot of my features are from my dad.
Again, bringing it back to the standards that as women we're meant to be small, petite, cute, non-threatening, frail, tiny.
I was very insecure about my appearance for a very long time. Started liking myself. Not just loving myself, like I actually started liking myself, and I started liking exactly how I'm made. So that was a great, and that was a long journey, but a great journey as well.
And as she says, they're not taking issue with her or anything that she does. It's just the way that she looks, how she's born. You know, it's something that you can't control, and that's the cruelest part, right? Wellness by Nora gets us a bunch as well.
Get it, I'm ugly. I know this. I've been called ugly for my entire life.
She's a Pilates instructor, and oh my goodness, like I talked about in my Pilates video, there's only a certain kind of woman that is meant to be doing Pilates, who's meant to be incredibly thin and beautiful, because that's why the red pill guys like her so much, you know? People, often men or well-meaning and supportive friends and family, will often say things like, "Oh, you should do this, you should do that, then you'll be fine. You just change this, that, and that, and the other." You know, give unsolicited advice.
What's your skin regime? My regime. The regime from which the radicals are trying to get free? Are we selling face cream or staging a coup?
And this AI-generated meme often comes up, and I'm kind of glad that it's not a real person that they've used. As much as makeup is a wonderful form of expression and it can do some things, it cannot change the entire bone structure of your face. Like, guys are so clueless, they think that women who wear makeup are like this. Like, bro, do you really think I'm trying to fool anybody by having peacock-coloured eyeshadow on today? Seriously? No. Like this woman shared, "When I've worn makeup, people still call me ugly and bully me. I've paid a substantial amount of money to makeup artists over the years to do my makeup for me, and it still hasn't worked. I've even had people think I'm trans or a man wearing a wig. Makeup can't help girls who look very masculine like myself." And it's something that happens to a number of women who got labelled as unattractive or ugly. And then when you try to explain it's PCOS or you just look like your dad, they doubt you. The beauty standards are so extreme now. Like I explored last year in my transvestigation video, lines of acceptable femininity are so narrow. It's a beauty that requires constant policing and scrutiny, which happens even by other women towards each other. All this transphobia that's been boiling up over the past few years in particular is hurting trans and intersex people in particular, and it's also hurting women in general. I find it so utterly bizarre anytime I see a woman identifying as a feminist and then also being transphobic, because I'm like, you're aiming the gun back at yourself. As so many commenters say, surgery is the only option to be able to fix yourself, and it's like, why should you have to fix yourself anyway? And also, then people say anyone who gets procedures or plastic surgery done, then they are lying to future men, because of course it always has to be the man that's the victim here. They're lying about their gene pool, they're deceiving them. And when an unattractive woman deals with harassment, she's told to be grateful for getting any attention at all. Like, you know, the Me Too movement? Tarana Burke was the one who started it in 2006, but she is a black woman. It was only in 2017 when beautiful white actresses started to share their own stories that the movement gained any traction, and even then there were doubts about it. And still to this very day, we are dealing with the backlash from this movement. People don't believe victims if they're not conventionally attractive. Like in Italy, for example, the court noted that the suspects had found her unattractive and too, quote, masculine to be a credible victim. This poor woman suffered from injuries so bad that she had to have stitches. In 2022 in Queensland, Australia, an inquiry into police showed them saying things like victims were too ugly to be They deserve to be raped, and I can see why he does it to her. Violence against women is a global, massive issue. But the aggression towards women who aren't conventionally attractive gets overlooked all the time, and it also means that they don't want to come forward because they feel like, well, what's the point? 'Cause people won't care. I won't be believed. Think about any of the true crime that you see. People are often like, oh, she's so beautiful. What a shame. It's so sad. As if her beauty is the marker of her worth. Anytime a woman who's not conventionally attractive shares the horrors that she's endured, do you know what men often come along and comment saying, well, you know, all you have to do is open your legs and you've got your worth right there. For ugly men, life is so much harder. As if they have to make it about themselves anytime that a woman is saying the things that she is facing. If you want to talk about your own problems, my dude, feel free. Go ahead. You don't need to go stealing away from someone else and be like, well, what about me? Because of these higher beauty standards of women, it means that they don't want to have their faces be seen or shown or anything like that, which means that we're only getting a far more limited amount of faces that we're shown. It limits the pools of life experience, of expertise, and also limits the empathy that people can feel for each other, in my opinion. Plus, it also doesn't help that moderators from TikTok in like 2020, they were told to filter out videos from ugly, poor, and disabled users. Recently, the subreddit True Ugly Women got really popular, and men kept on going in there, sliding into people's DMs, saying like, oh, you're not really ugly, you know, trying to like prey on weak people. Again, it's the whole insecurity thing, and just saying like the worst thing. This is where the concept of being a hare girl comes from, because girls are meant to be like cute little bunnies, but then hares, they don't have the correct features. And the struggles of even on days where you feel like you're okay, then you see what other girls look like, and you're like, oh, wait, no. I thought I looked nice, but then I just look like a hare in comparison to a bunny. When will I be worthy of calling myself a girl? With a self-portrait they've drawn looking in the mirror, which reminded me of the way that Vincent van Gogh did his unapologetic, just real self-portrait. There's no artifice there. There's people heavily relating in the comments because we're taught from childhood, sung about in songs, that our beauty is something that all women must possess. This is a thing that attracts people to us. However, the comments on the post continue saying, this is how you truly look, then you have zero problems. Remember how we talked about only a couple of weeks ago how harsh people are to even attractive women online, constantly telling them that they're not pretty? You're also not believed to be ugly enough to be treated badly as a girl either. There is literally no winning. And then this other person goes on to say that they just need to fix their lips and then do this, that, and the other. It's your duty to fix your face. And others are like, wow, there really are ugly women out there. And you wonder why people don't want to leave the house. Denying people's own lived experiences diminishes the real harm that they face. It's effectively like telling them to shut up. Like Sarah shares here,
Ooh, these are some things that we need to stop saying to people that are not conventionally attractive. Number one is that everyone is beautiful. Because while I agree that everyone has beautiful qualities, inner and outer beauty, of course, this phrase avoids acknowledging the fact that society ranks people based on their attractiveness all the time. That is just a simple reality of the society that we live in. And we have to acknowledge that that exists. If somebody is talking to you about their experience as someone that's not conventionally attractive, they're looking for you to listen so that you can accept and understand, not so that you can fix them.
And there's so many intersections at play, like I mentioned before with fat phobia, there's ageism, there's racism, and on racism. One of my patrons, Nicole, shared, as a Mexican American, I was always considered pretty by my family and peers. I lived a few years in a large metropolitan area and I was still considered pretty even though I was getting older. Now that I live in Ohio, I often get dismissed and overlooked. I'm a Mexican American in a predominantly white community. I remember a guy I met online asking if I'm Latina. I told him that I am and he said, that's okay, you're still beautiful. I always thought I looked fine, but here in Ohio, I don't fit their standards. It's like, thanks racist bloke, at least he showed his red flags early. Ugliness in women is seen as something that you should fix because, I mean, there's so many surgeries available, right? I remember seeing Megan Barton Hanson sharing that the bullying that she got for her ears sticking out got so bad that the NHS actually paid for her to have it done.
Every face is unique, but a facial difference refers to anyone whose appearance from the neck up deviates from socially accepted norms from any cause, whether from birth or throughout their lifetime.
This is different than featureism.
Facial differences is the more common, neutral, and respectful term instead of outdated and dehumanizing ones that describe us as deformed or disfigured.
While some facial differences can impact breathing, hearing, seeing, and eating, no facial difference makes us less human or less deserving of respect.
This brings me on to facial differences, representation of which is usually relegated to villain roles. Except for Quasimodo, who in The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, which has the same message as the first movie, but this time he gets the girl and worse animation. And I'm sure that you're already following Smarter in Seconds by Blair Imani, and I've got it linked for you down below in case you're not yet. Ugly laws used to exist literally to shut people out who had facial differences and disabilities. That was only stopped in 1974, because yes, eugenics is always near. Facial differences and other disabilities have been marketed as ugliness. Ableism is never far from this conversation. And because of all of this marketing that conventional beauty means that someone is good and ugly people means that they're evil, this just increases harm to disabled people. And July, the month we're currently in, is Disability Pride Month. And this harm is intensified when women are the ones with facial differences. Movies are terrible at representing this, even though the book Ready Player One and the author certainly aren't great. The female main character's birthmark is completely different to how it's described in the books. Instead, it's put onto an attractive girl who just has like a slight discoloration on her face. One of the worst examples is 2018's Mortal Engines, based on the book of the same name. Hester Shaw, the protagonist, looks nothing like she's meant to in the book. She's described as having one eye, a stump of a nose, with her mouth frozen in a sneer, but director Christian Rivers explains why he changed her so much to this. It's fine in the book for Hester to be described as ugly, hideous, and to have lost a nose, because even that, you reimagine it in your own mind as, okay, yeah, she's ugly, but she's not really ugly. Tom falls in love with her, and film as a visual media, finding a balance where we need to believe that Tom and Hester fall in love, and her scar does need to be disfiguring enough that she thinks that she's ugly. Ah yes, a man couldn't possibly fall in love with a woman with significant facial differences, and of course the audience wouldn't want to relate to her either. And there's this whole other discussion that we could have about conventionally attractive actresses having to be taken seriously by taking on ugly roles. There's such a strange combination that a beautiful woman can't possibly be smart or talented or have anything going for her at all, at the same time as never wanting to see a woman who's not conventionally attractive on screen. It's like when thin people wear fat suits, but again, that's getting into a future video topic. Lizzie Velasquez was called the ugliest girl in the world after someone took a clip of her on the Maury show and it went viral. She deals with hate comments all the time, and she had to do massive amount of work to turn people's disgusting behaviour into a way to have a platform. She's a speaker and an author now. It sounds wonderful, right? You know, some real inspiration. This is how everyone should beat the bullies, just rise above them. But the bullies never stop.
What happened to your face? First of all, nothing's wrong with me, my friend. Nothing happened to my face. I was born in this body, and it's who I am. I'm Lizzie. Nice to meet you. Let's be kind. Being curious isn't bad, but being curious can be asked in a respectful way.
Governments are actually reducing support for disabled people. The genocide still happening in Gaza is one of the biggest disabling events the world has ever seen, and disabilities are still seen as something to be eradicated. I mean, heck, there are so many countries in the world, including here, where if a disabled person gets married, their benefits get cut off because the person they're married to is meant to become their carer. Disability rights are so important to keep fighting for, and again, I'm gonna keep on imploring you. Local community involvement is huge. Local government involvement is huge. Please make sure that you're voting and letting your government know the things that matter to you. As Crutches and Spice brings up all the time.
You are one accident away. You are one bad day away. You are one cough away from having a disability. We mean that. But also, you're one bad pray the gay away, disabled. You're one bad, oh, I'm having an affair with a cop, disabled. You're one bad, I would have my own bank account as a woman, disabled. You're one bad food desert from being disabled. You're one bad data center from being disabled. So when we talk about who's disabled and who's not, you're one bad opinion from being disabled.
We don't get to self-determine if we're disabled or not. It's the people in power who determine who are disabled. And disabled people are whoever they deem to be disposable.
And a bit alarming.
Why is it that women fall in love with the misunderstood monster, the one that isn't even human at all? Is it perhaps because as we go through puberty, we're taught that our bodies are monstrous? We ourselves have to hide signs of us changing. We have to remove the hair that grows. We have to hide the fact that we have periods, hide our monthly pain, and pretend that everything is totally fine to make sure that nobody else feels uncomfortable. We're just overreacting. We just need to get used to it. All the other people with a uterus are. You need to smile more. We owe the world beauty, and that is where our value lies. Be sure to cover up those spots and and acne. We learn that our bodies are shameful and are the problem. That the way our bodies grow and form are to be leered at or ridiculed. Respectability garments must be worn. We must grow up at the same time as being told to shrink our bodies. We're told that we need to be more mature, and that means hiding our anger. It means putting others before ourselves. And science is here to back me up because Monica, the patron that shared this study with me, links lumps and lines, stigma in women's bodies. Women's bodies have often been positioned in art and popular culture as monstrous or defiled, and women's bodily products, e.g. menstrual fluid, breast milk, as disgusting. All of this places women at all stages of life as positioning of menstruating fat and old women as threatening and stigmatized. And as we've also been taught that we're the nurturers of others, that we need to be more patient and caring and definitely be there for the boys. We're their guiding force. In fact, we're the ones with empathy that need to fix him. Is it any wonder why we have the empathy for the tortured souls and the monsters? With this as our own social conditioning. Boys turn to men, they become bigger and more powerful, and it's generally accepted that they get to be a bit more gross than women. It's okay for them to have a lynx shower, be untidy, if all they say is some grunts here and there. In fact, the sooner they become real men by cutting off empathy and using girls, the better. That signifies of being a real man. We're taught to see beneath the monstrous, behind the looks. Because his looks aren't important, it's only important when it comes to you. It only matters that he's reliable and he cares, and the only way that you can find that out is by staying by his side and sticking through it all. I mean, they need us, to help make him a better man. Another video topic. How many ugly monsters have men fallen for? But mermaid. You mean like Daryl Hannah in Splash? What about Splice? First, that's a horror film without a romantic plot. Second, you mean this beautiful creature played by Delphine Cheniac? I see what you mean. She's hideously sexy. Species! Another horror without a romance. With the tagline, men can't resist her, mankind may not survive her. Next you'll be telling me Mystique counts when she's also shown in the movies as a drop-dead gorgeous woman. It's our job to find the humanity in, but it's the guy's job to find the hot ones to possess, even if it's for a short time. Only exception I've seen is Monster House, which is weirdly off-putting animation throughout, but a guy gets a crush on a fat woman at a circus and saves her from the abuse that she faces, and then she falls down a hole and then gets buried underneath the house very quickly after they get together. Even though he never actually sees the woman anymore, it's become a house. And sometimes people try to bring up Howl's Moving Castle, but isn't he also a monster as well? And she, over the course of the movie, turns from the old lady and becomes beautiful over the course of the movie as she learns to live more. Now look, I will say beauty standards for men more recently have become more extreme, and I do not agree with the way that Hollywood likes to make sure that these guys are all on steroids and bulking up and then dehydrating massively. I've talked about that many times. The body standards are ridiculous. But that's also other guys trying to meet the patriarchal beauty standards for other men. I've talked about it before. You're doing this for each other. You're not doing it for us. We're the ones that are we want you to be emotionally intelligent. We want you to care. We want you to be interested in us as people. We want you to know basic life skills, participate in things like cooking, cleaning, actually participating in raising children equally. You'll have seen Clavicular get turned down repeatedly by so many women across Europe. Looks are not the main thing that matters. His personality sucks. The way that he views women sucks.
I'm dropping game, but it's not hitting. Airball.
But the goal of these guys is never actually to be in a relationship with a woman, it's to get them, to acquire them, to use them, to be able to brag about having them. It's just an accessory, an object.
I've got something for you. Loser guys and how to spot them.
I'm telling you, patriarchy is hurting you, and if you're listening to dudes like this, then you're only hurting your own chances more.
Women do wear makeup from time to time, Greg. It's not like I had surgery or anything, although my mother offered. But
as Sarah, otherwise known as Horrible Meme Bad Woman, says,
maybe you are ugly, so what? And even for a self-described horrible woman, I know this seems really harsh, but the truth is that I don't think the solution to us as women being overly preoccupied with whether or not we're attractive is to constantly be reassuring ourselves and each other that we are attractive. A solution that involves learning to love the way you look or learning to see yourself as beautiful is kind of unachievable for a lot of people. And then when we struggle with it, it just deepens the feelings of inadequacy that we have. And also it kind of gives credibility to the idea that beauty is important. I think what might be more productive and achievable is recognizing that you are living in a rigged system that has had to condition you into seeing how you look as a matter of supreme importance, so that you will put mental space, emotional energy and material resources into the matter. and get pissed off about it, because getting to a place of self-love might be really difficult, but getting angry at a system set up to screw you over and refusing to think the way it wants you to think can be really motivating, or at least I found it to be.
As I talked about before, making sure that we're following a wide variety of people makes a massive difference. And people keep on saying, like, if you're watching British or European shows, you get less perfection than what you often see when it comes to American TV. I just wish that some of the humour wasn't quite so cringeworthy, but I know I've definitely been enjoying the other Bennet sister. I don't know about you. As always, my description box is full of all of the sources and all of the accounts that I've referenced as well, so you can go follow all of those amazing people. But I want to just leave you with these final thoughts. Not only is insisting that unattractive women are unlovable or only to be used and discarded cruel, it's a way to build fear in every other woman as well that they will face this treatment as well. It keeps us occupied, constantly scared, constantly self-policing. As I've said before, strength training, we're getting into it not only for our own health and well-being, but also to fight against the patriarchy. Thanks again to Balesa for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to click my link below. Everyone who signs up wins a free Whisper Vibe or Viral Rose suction toy with any Whisper purchase. So yeah, maybe if you did make it all the way to the end of this video, leave some flower emojis. Like, what's your favorite flower from the emojis? Like, leave those down below. Thanks again to my patrons for their constant support, and extra special thank you to my top tier Trash Panda enablers: Alana, Anna, Anna Marie, Autumn Noel, Alexandria, Back to Fly, Be in a Jar, Baguette, Butt Bunch McGee, Carrie Wilson Bridges, Chris N, Connor Hackett, Christina A, Danielle, Dr. Worm, Dr. Bun, L, Elise, Emily McCulley, Jacqueline Joan, Jane, Jess S, Christine Ryan, Kylie Prestige, Laura Bell, Lexi Norway, Mark Tremonti as God, Mars, Mary Smythe, Megan Connolly, Mimsy, Mishy the Bunny, Miranda Angelique, Monica Jensen, Nathan, Nick Neither Nor, Nicole H, Phonix Firegirl, Pink is Life, Piwan, Queen Wintersby, Rachel, Random Anonymous Someone, Sarah C, Sassy CB, Shireen Roberts, Shelby Rose, Scardy Snetty, Tammy Poitras, Tasha McKinney, Tonya Beignet, Baruch Catmama, Sophima. And did anybody else who watched Phantom of the Opera think that she should have chosen Phantom instead of, like, what's his name, Raoul? No, really want to watch the movie. Yes, I know. And when I turned 15, I legitimately was like, why is she going with him when the Phantom, like, he made her a wedding dress, he understands her, like, he's really there for her art, he supports her. No one loves her like him. The poor guy is so unloved. She's the only one who can save him. It doesn't matter that he groomed her. It took me an embarrassingly long number of years to realize that Phantom was not actually the best guy. As much as we can sympathize with him for his struggles, you shouldn't groom someone.